Hey, this is Patty from As It Is, and you're listening to the Rock Sound Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Rock Sound Podcast. I'm Will Cross. Jack Rogers, how are you?
I'm alright, Will. Yeah.
Looking happy?
Always. Living the dream.
That's it. No Tamsin this week, but we have a very, very, very special guest. Mr. Rob Sace, our associate editor. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's good. Good. Thanks for having me on.
Rob is our fountain of knowledge in the office. He knows everything about everything, so this is going to be a good time. So last week we had Beartooth. We had Caleb Shomo, Beartooth Mastermind, exclusive on Album 3, everything to come for that band in 2018. And we also had Dashboard Confessional legend Chris Carrabba on the past, present and future. Absolutely amazing stuff. But this week we've got Mr. Alex Gaskarth returning to the podcast to talk about the band's upcoming So Wrong It's Right set on their upcoming UK arena tour. Didn't know if they were going to do it, but they're doing it. So exciting. He tells us everything, so stay tuned. And also the introduction of a brand new feature, Always the Quiet Ones, with Mr. Otto Wood of Waterparks. So this is going to be a feature where we talk to a member of a band who mainly, who maybe we don't know as much about or doesn't do as much press and that sort of thing. So I brought a bunch of questions, what Otto used to do, what got him to music, his first meetings with Austin and Jeff, all this sort of stuff. And we just had this long, sprawling chat about everything to do with him. Absolutely amazing. Stay tuned for brilliant, unheard park stories. But Jack, first the news.
Sick. MCR's The Black Parade has been certified triple platinum, and there's also going to be an art exhibition in Chicago called Zone Rats, the afterlives of the fabulous Killjoys, inspired by Danger Days, which went gold the other week. So congratulations to MCR, and we're glad that it's still kicking off and everyone still loves you. Waterparks have dropped a new banger in the form of Not Warriors, and Austin has also launched a new podcast called Austin and Travis's Slumber Party, where he and author Travis Riddle read and review fan fiction. Yeah, it's a real thing. We've heard it, and yeah, just find it and listen to it to yourself. Nothing Nowhere's dropped a video for REM. Black Veil Brides have released a video for Wake Up after releasing their new album Veil on Friday. An All-Time Low has revealed that Creeper will be replacing Pierce the Veil on their upcoming UK arena tour.
Yes, so that brings us to interview one. Alex Gaskarth. So the band have revealed they are playing So Wrong It's Right on their upcoming UK arena shows. Man, so exciting. So we brought all of that to Alex to find out exactly what spurred the decision to do all this stuff, what we can expect, if there's going to be the pop-up shops from the Jersey shows, chat about the Jersey shows as well, all kinds of stuff. So he told us absolutely everything. It's going to be amazing. Here's Alex to tell us all about it. So, especially, like I say, last time we were chatting all about Last Young Renegade, you guys are a very forward-thinking band, especially with the success of that album and onwards. And I mean, what kind of spurred the idea in that sense then to do these shows and these upcoming sets? I mean, because, you don't have to do them. So what kind of spurred the idea?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it was really getting up to New Jersey for the holiday shows. This year, or last year now, was kind of all about the 10-year. Obviously, we'd put out a new record, but there were a lot of people that were very passionate about us doing something for the 10-year of So Wrong. And so it obviously at first wasn't really our focus. We were thinking about the new music and thinking about the new record, and then we just kind of figured out something that worked to be able to do something special for So Wrong It's Right. And once we actually got there and did those shows and realized how insane the reaction was, it was so genuinely cool. The energy in the room every night was amazing. We were, just kind of like, man, this would be fun to do again. And we sort of put a pin in it and left it there. It wasn't, it kind of wasn't like the focus at that point, but it was something that we knew we might want to do again. And then, obviously with Pierce the Veil sort of exiting the tour, it was sort of just, it felt like the right audible to call. We knew we had to, shake things up to keep people really excited about the arena tour. And obviously, losing a support band is never the easiest thing to bounce back from. So we were kind of like, well, look, we know this is going to go over really well. We know we didn't get to bring this overseas yet. So, let's do it.
Amazing stuff. Well, I can't wait to see it. And I mean, yeah, like you say, I mean, like, because in the sense, bands don't always, enjoy doing album anniversaries and that sort of thing. It can occasionally be a bit sneered at. Bands don't want to look back and that sort of thing. But you guys, kind of like what you're saying, especially with the shows in December, you guys seem to really genuinely enjoy it and have a total blast with it. Like, what made the difference? Was it the atmosphere and just the love for all the songs from the fans?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that was eye-opening. I mean, it's we knew it was going to be fun. We knew we were going to have a good time playing it and reminiscing and stuff like that. But, once you actually get in the room and feel that energy and see the passion for the record and the music that's connected with these people that long ago, it was just, it kind of relit the fire, I guess. I think the UK has always been sort of the second market for us that has really supported this band more than anywhere else. I think so. I think So Wrong is going to translate there just as well as it did here, and that was really the big realization. Is that it's nowhere else in the world. Like, the UK is really the place that we probably should do these shows. And I think it's fun. Like, every time we come over and do shows in the UK or big headlining sets, like we play a longer and longer show anyway. So we just kind of figured this would be like a fun way to get us up to that 2-hour set that we've always wanted to play in the UK.
Amazing. It was so good. I mean, because first time we spoke, we talked a little bit about the album, and you said you're very proud of it looking back, and it was kind of the first time that you really found the all-time low sound, that we know and love. And I mean, how's it been actually returning physically to these songs now and playing through them and doing the whole album? Like, has there been any nerves in it, or has it just kind of come back, just pure muscle memory?
It actually came back pretty naturally. We were joking about this that weekend that we did the 3 shows, and just kind of talking about how, it's a relief that we were much worse songwriters back then, because the songs are pretty simple, and it's just fun pop rock at that point. And fortunately, nothing is overly complicated on that record to where we had one day of rehearsal for it, and we were all like going into it. We're all a little bit like, shit, what if this is too much to learn in one day? And but we awesomely enough, it kind of came back pretty quickly. And fortunately, we've played a lot of that record. There were days in our career when that was really the only album we had out, so that was like taking up the majority of our set. And so we've played a lot of those songs live before, and so that is always kind of like riding a bike. It comes back pretty quickly. And there were a few songs we never played, but that was like the sort of random back half of the record, so it wasn't too hard to learn. And it was fortunate that it ended up being an easy recall.
Awesome. Yeah, because I mean, in terms of those songs, the more kind of the rarity side of the album, I mean, like, has there been any particular favourites that you've been going back to? Have you kind of taken back and going through those songs? Has there been kind of any that you've kind of gone, oh man, I really miss playing this, and I can't wait to kind of be doing this a bit more as we do more sets of So Wrong Is Right?
Yeah, I love playing the beach.
Oh man, yeah.
I kind of forgot how much fun that song is to play live. That's definitely a standout to me. Throughout, like, all 3 of the shows, that one really went off. I thought it was fun and kind of interesting that, like, Holly, Would You Turn Me On? That song, like, we had, because obviously at these shows we had a bit of an older crowd, and it's people that grew up on this record and things like that. So at the Jersey shows, I was finding it really entertaining that, like, we had these like 20 to 30-year-old like pop punk bros in the pit going nuts for like a song like Holly, Would You Turn Me On? And I never thought of that song as like a mosh song, I guess. So I was just sort of like, I had to kind of laugh at that one, because like I remember when we put that record out, I think that was the song that got like a lot of hate on like the punk websites and stuff. It was like, this is just a straight up pop song. This band sold out. And then it's like, fast forward 10 years, and that's the one that like, okay, Circle Pit just opened up for Holly. I love it. So yeah, I mean, it's just funny how that stuff changes over the years. And so those 2, we played those 2 back to back, actually. And yeah, that was like definitely a highlight of the show. Great energy.
Amazing, yeah. Because I mean, like I remember we spoke actually when we were doing the awards chat about, that's something great about the band through the years, and that you get a really eclectic, really mixed audience, and especially a young audience. As every album comes out, and new fans get involved with the band. So has it been quite different then? So you mentioned that you have these sort of older dudes and stuff. Has there been quite a sort of has there been quite a change in crowds, from your main tours to doing these shows?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think it definitely. And it's hard to say like how it'll be in the arenas, because obviously they're much bigger rooms to what we were doing in Jersey. I think Jersey was like maybe 2,200 or something like that each night. So they were much more intimate, and it was like very noticeable, like the diversity of the crowd at those. But it's really cool. Like if it's cool to do a show like that and see the range of fans that come out. I asked each night, I was like, how many people have were listening to So Wrong when it came out, and how many people found out about us later and things like that. There's a pretty cool mix. Like I would say about half and half each night, where there were still new fans coming out. And that was fascinating too. It's like we had these people that were, down in front that were like really passionate about that record. And you could tell those were that was the crowd that, probably bought it 10 years ago when it came out. And that was the record that they kind of fell in love with. For All Time Low, and then you had these other kids at this show that were very much like probably came in on a different record, like a later record, and then going back and re-exploring the back catalog, but still, felt some kind of connection to it. So it's cool to see that mix for sure.
Amazing stuff. And I mean, mentioned these songs like The Beach, and Holly and things. I mean, do you think that going forward, these might see more of a return to the main set in general, a bit more of a frequency with those, or do you reckon this might be the last time that, we see some of these songs live for a good while now?
I think it's probably closer to the latter. We don't play a ton of songs from So Wrong usually anymore. We noticed more and more that there was definitely a lesser response at our usual shows to some of the older material. I think, but that being said, I think what it could end up being is that we'll try to mix it up a bit more. I think we got very comfortable, like just putting in Dear Maria or Let It Roll here and there. But I think what it has reminded us is that it's a deep record and there's lots of songs that people appreciate. So I think even if we're not playing like a ton of songs off that record going forward, I think, it'll definitely encourage us to maybe rotate them out a little more and try to throw in a Beach here and there or a Stay Awake, things like that. Just knowing that, the appreciation is still there for those songs. But, again, outside of these sets, which is sort of a special callback to the album, it is, I think I've said to you before, we want to keep growing and we want to keep writing new music. And, we'll always try to keep it a diverse set with something from every record. But, the focus is definitely always about moving forward for us.
Awesome, yeah, because I mean, as well in that sense, I mean, like, what's your view on anniversaries in general, because I mean, this feels like a real celebration, it feels like, like you say, people are coming out seeing this album they love, but, from people that bought it 10 years ago to people who have discovered the album more recently, and it feels like a real celebration. I mean, is that your view on these sort of things, in that it should just be about, reliving these songs and enjoying them?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think I look at it the same way. I look back on my favorite bands' records and the records that I love from those bands, and it's if I put myself in, I guess, the shoes of the fan, and if I could go and hear Green Day play Dookie front to back, or Blink play Enema or Dude Ranch front to back, that would be a special night for me. It's not necessarily like that's the only thing I want to hear of those bands, but it would definitely be a cool special moment. And so we just kind of wanted to provide that experience, with given the opportunity, because you don't get a lot of tours where that even makes sense. So, I think this will be a really fun one to be able to go out, start the show with an entire record, pay tribute to, where we started, where we came from, and then, walk on stage for a little bit, come right back out and play another show, with everything else. I think that's going to be a really special night. And it's going to put us to the test. We won't have ever done like a double show like that. So it's going to be a pretty cool challenge, I think, to get through every night to play that many songs and pretty much do two shows.
Super cool, man. Yeah, because I was going to ask about that. I mean, how's it going to work logistically? I mean, is it going to be kind of you guys doing So Wrong It's Right and then a support act and then you guys coming on to do the main set? Kind of how's that planned, or is it kind of still under wraps at this point?
To be honest, we're still sort of figuring that out. We talked about maybe like truly opening the show like that. But obviously, you know, with these arena shows, it's tricky because you got to get everybody inside. So there will be some like logistical figuring out whether, you know, we don't want people to miss out on it because it is sort of like a special thing. But yeah, we talked about doing it that way where we would like fully open the show, then a support band would go on, and then then we'd come back out at the end, or whether we just do it back to back. I don't know. We haven't totally figured it out yet, but the main thing is that we want to make sure, you know, everybody can actually enjoy it. So that'll be the focus.
Amazing, yeah. Because as well, at the ballroom you had a very special pop-up shop as well. I mean, will that potentially be making an appearance at the UK shows?
It could happen. I don't know. We haven't figured that out quite yet either. I think we'll definitely do some kind of like, some nostalgic throwback, merch and stuff like that. I think we gotta kind of provide, give what the people want. But I don't know. Like that was really just a matter of like we were posted up there for 3 days, so that kind of like that stuff becomes easier when you're sort of hanging out in one space and you don't have to set up a store every single day. But we'll see. It could definitely happen.
Cool, awesome stuff. And like, I mean, as well, like you say, doing the double set and everything. I mean, are there nerves in that? Are they kind of, in terms of having to switch from the album over to, more recent material? And like we've chatted about before, that all the all-time low albums are very different. You have a really eclectic discography. Are there nerves in that, or is it just going to be kind of fairly slick, and you're just going to be able to switch into each kind of mode?
I think that the music part's going to flow pretty easily. We kind of did the same thing with the shows in Jersey. I mean, we came out and played the set, and we would do an encore of like 6 or 7 songs playing stuff from all different records. And so, this will be sort of an expanded version of that because, it's not just an encore. It'll be a whole nother show. I think the thing I'm most kind of nervous about is just, not losing my voice and just being able to like have the stamina to get through 2 full shows. It's definitely going to be like a marathon for sure. But, I think we'll pull it off. We definitely have played long sets in the past. I think it'll just be kind of a new take on doing that.
Awesome, man! I can't wait. And I mean, as well, seeing, we've kind of touched on it already, but I mean, when you started to tour around this idea, and there was so much excitement online, and demand really for you guys to play in the album and to be bringing it overseas and everything. I mean, how's that been to see? Especially that as the album's 10 years old now. I mean, is that a really amazing feeling that there's still such a love for this album?
Yeah, it's incredible. The album, I think, not last year, but the year before, went gold in the States, and it's gone, I think, silver or gold in the UK. And, it's crazy to see. It's rare that, like, your back catalog grows like that. It's a real testament to the fact that, it has stuck with people. And not only has it stuck with people, but it's also continued to appeal to, new fans that have come in and, like I said, discovered our more recent music and then gone back and listened to the old stuff. And, that doesn't happen for everyone. So I feel really lucky that this band has become a band for a lot of people that are really invested in all of the music and kind of everything affiliated with it. So it's cool to not just be, a band where 1 record appeals or 2 records appeal. Like, I think for the most part, like when people get into All Time Low, they are very passionate about, most of the work and the story. So yeah, it's pretty incredible that it's stood the test of time and continues to be a big part of what we've done. This band's legacy.
Definitely, yeah. And I mean, on a similar note as well, I mean, how's it been reliving the memories of, of that era as well? Because, I used to, read and watch interviews with you guys from that era, all the kind of hijinks you used to get up to and that sort of thing. And it seems so much fun. Has it been a lot of fun as, a group of friends to relive those memories?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, we kind of have been reflecting on all of it as we go, and little things will pop up that you haven't thought about in years, and it's back to like the record making process, doing that with Matt Squire. And, it's very reflective, and you know, it was funny. Like the first rehearsal I think we had for like the So Wrong set, you know, we would start playing the songs, and then like going back to talking about muscle memory, like these little things that we had added to the songs live at various times, like random stops or like a little break here or a different take on a riff or something like that. It kind of all started popping out just as we were playing it naturally. We were like, oh yeah, we used to do this, you know, and it was from a time that we, you know, it had been like 6 or 7 years since we'd played it, but those little things pop out, and then it starts bringing back all the memories from that tour, and you know, stuff like that. So yeah, it's been very cool. It really has like kind of lit a fire again, a very nostalgic fire.
Cool. So yeah, Jack, what are you saying?
I mean, the biggest thing is that this is a thing which is happening, and that's pretty wild to begin with. And it is a case that it's become a normal thing for bands to play albums in full, but this feels like genuine. And Alex seems so excited to be able to actually go out and do these songs again. And like, the big thing which stuck out was when he said that it's like relearning songs where he said it wasn't very hard, but it relit the fire which was there before. And it's not like their fire ever like got smaller, like it's been burning brighter and brighter and brighter. But like, it's a nice way that they're able to show where they started and where they are now. And I feel as though there's not many bands who can pull that off in that way. It's pretty wild to think that a lot of the kids who are into All Time Low now weren't around like in the capacity to know what So Wrong It's Right was. So it's going to be such a really cool like clash of worlds and clash of fans. And you can just tell by the way Alex is talking about it that he's stoked on it as well. Like it's going to be something rather special.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's going to be amazing. And I mean, yeah, just hearing, you know, how things change as well. Like, you know, when they used to get called out for being sellouts on online forums, and now there's dudes moshing, you know, to the shit out of that song. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing how, like, because when it comes down to these albums, like, it's something we say loads that, like, it's almost a snapshot of a certain time for a band. And it's the way that feelings and emotions towards songs change. And I'm trying to think who I've talked to it about before, but it's how you've got to put yourself back into that position and then reliving those kind of times where there was issues with the songs. Like after the Jersey shows, it was like Alex tweeted, "Is come on all a meme now?" Because like because people had picked up that he said, "Oh, I hate playing that song," and I just go, it's fine now. And it's amazing that like they're able to relive these years and see where the growth has come from the band, and it is introducing people to these songs and these like emotions. It's to do it on the scale that they are as well. Like it's not like going to, I don't know, small venues. Like these are arena shows, doing full albums, like which is bold to begin with as well. But yeah, like you can just hear in Alex's voice like how stoked he is on this. Like they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't want to. They've got no reason to do it. It's just like they're doing it just because it's going to be so much fun.
Definitely, yeah. So Rob, what do you think of it? You're a bit of an All Time Low connoisseur, so
yeah, I think it you know, it puts into context how far they've come and how much they've evolved, you know, in the last 10 years. And it's always interesting looking back, even just as a person, you know, where you were so long ago, almost like looking back at yearbook photos or something. And it sounds like it's like that for them.
Yeah.
And I guess it seems like it's helped them kind of come to terms with who they are as a band, where they've come from. And it's really cool to hear like how excited he still is about those songs, how kind of real and alive they are. You know, it's doesn't seem like contrived or, you know, something they don't want to do. And I'm just excited to hear that whole album again. I mean, some of those songs, like, I mean, Remembering Sunday, anyone?
Man, yeah.
That's going to be a mess. Like,
as Jack would say.
Oh yeah, it is one of those moments. In comparison to Walking on Heads,
it's going to be like a giant flood of tears filling up the arena. So.
I thought that it's when you said it's like yearbook photos. That it's like, oh, looking back. It's just them looking back on old haircuts.
It is, yeah. I think they'd admit that.
But you know, like everyone looked stupid in 2008. You know, all of us did.
Literally everyone.
I always had two belts on it at any one time.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you might as well own it.
Yeah.
And they've come out of it with an album full of incredible songs. And, you know, an amazing career. So fair play to those guys.
Big style.
Mate, very true. Brilliant stuff. Jack?
Listener questions. Right then, lads. So, the first one is from Jordan LR Band, who asked, what's the band you talked about so much that you got banned from talking about them over dinner? And I would say I never got like banned for talking about them over like when I was having my tea because I'm too busy eating. But I remember being told to shut up on multiple times when I was talking about Green Day. Like, because I got into Green Day around like American Idiot and then worked backwards. Like, another one for the kids. There was this thing called MSN back in the day, where you'd leave school and after talking to people all day, you'd then go home, rush to your computer, and then go on MSN and talk to them even more about nothing. And my tags were always like Green Day lyrics, like from various songs on that, and from deep cuts because I thought I was like really cool for not just liking the singles. And I remember being on a school trip and a mate of mine, like I brought them up or something, and he just went, "Will you shut up about them? Like it's all you talk about. Can you just talk about something else? Like no one cares. No one cares what you think about this band." And I was just like, "All right, mate, yeah. I'll talk about My Chemical Romance instead." And he went, "And them."
Yeah, you know what? I think I had a quite recent experience of this almost within The Office itself with The Main and their most recent album, because like they're a band that I will fully admit like I more or less slept on. Like I liked songs here and there, respected them as a band, but never entirely got it. And then we got the most recent record in, and it's like completely blew my mind.
It's your bop, innit?
Yeah. I started putting it on every day, wouldn't shut up about it. And because I used to be kind of a metal guy, so it became a bit of a joke, quite rightly, that, you know, I don't know what's happened, but that's such a brilliant record, and I've basically been going around telling everyone who will listen to that record. So, yeah, I mean, incredible band. I think growing up, it was probably like Panic at the Disco or something in school music lessons, being like, "Can we do this instead?" And it's like, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. And you can't play it anyway, so...
It's like devil's music.
yeah.
Oh god, it's been so long since I've had someone say that. Yeah, good. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty certain I've heard that album. I love that album, but I've heard it the most because you've put it on. So
Yeah, apologies to The Office.
well, I've been literally mugged off on Twitter by our editorial director for talking about Third Eye Blind. But like, I'm gonna go with Architects. I kind of banned myself talking about them on the podcast. Because the first probably like 5 or 6 weeks of the podcast, it was just like Architects for every answer. It was like, I need to stop doing this. So basically, yeah, Architects for being amazing. Doomsday's a massive tune. They're one of the best bands.
Sick. And who's CJ Reyes has asked us, are Japanese bands taking over the scene? And I think this is an interesting one because I think it's not taken over the scene, but I think just... because Japanese bands have always been there, like it's the same as any country and any culture. That like there's a scene for everything. It's just that Japanese bands are being accepted in other cultures a lot more. So it's not like a takeover. It's not like that everyone's going to be listening to all the Japanese bands, but it's just a really exciting place to be at the minute. Like, especially when you see the size of like 1OK Rock at the minute, and some of the shows they play in Japan, like they played Shepherd's Bush Empire the other week, which me and Rob were at, and for them it was a basement show in comparison to what they play. But yeah, I just think it's an exciting time for it. I feel as though there's just a lot more acceptance. Yeah. A Japanese band who I've always loved, and like it's kind of away from like the norms, is Maximum the Hormone.
Oh yeah.
Who, like, if you've never heard of them, it's just like, imagine if a band with the intensity of a metalcore band was dipped in candy floss and then had a synth kind of take to it. And then it was shook up and then just thrown at a wall and then like left to do whatever it wants and wander into the world. Like mad tunes, but like I'm not sure whether they've ever come over to the UK or not.
They might have supported En Shikari back in the day, actually.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
bloody hell.
Really?
Yeah, because they got a little bit of exposure from doing the Death Note anime theme
Oh,
tune.
yeah.
But yeah, I'd fully recommend just get lost in their like debauchery and chaos.
Yeah, fully back that up, you know, and like you're saying, Jack, about One OK Rock. I mean, legitimately one of the best live bands in the world right now. Absolutely incredible.
It was ridiculous, like just how tight that show was.
Yeah.
In every sense. So there was a point. It was during Say What You Want, like when like they just stopped and stood there. And it, like any other band, like the crowd would be like going, "What's going on? Get on with it!" But like the power they have over a crowd, that everyone just stopped silent and did it with them, was just mad. It was almost haunting.
Wow.
Yeah, and absolutely. Japan has one of the most diverse and fascinating and interesting music scenes on the planet. Like rock, pop, more widely than that even. So you know,
Yeah.
I think it's well overdue and really exciting that that's being kind of recognised globally, and like so many of those bands are kind of breaking through internationally. It's really cool to see.
Amazing. Yeah, I totally back what you're saying. I mean, my shout would probably be they're split up now, but they're a band called the Mad Capsule Markets. If you like all these bands, if you kind of like Maximum Hormones, like the slightly crazier side of that scene, check this band out. Check out the song Pulse. It was on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, so I'm really old this episode. But yeah, check that out. Absolutely brilliant. It's kind of spiky, punky, but with a slight electro edge to it as well. Still don't really sound like anything else. Really, really amazing. I think kind of like a kind of early indication of how brilliant and eclectic the scene's become now with bands like One OK Rock and that sort of thing. So yeah, the Mad Capsule Markets, and big up Japan.
Sick, lads.
Good stuff. Cool. So new issue, Palais Royale. Well, it's not new anymore because you guys have bought it, but it's all sold out. Palais Royale on the cover. All the bundles are gone. We have got the individual mags still available. Head to shop.rocksound.tv. Be quick. Go and buy them now. Shop.rocksound.tv. Big up Palais Royale. Also includes a special 21 Pilots pull-out photo mag celebrating the blurry face era ahead of the amazing things that are probably going to happen this year with that band. And also chats with Ask Alexandria, Tonight Alive Marmoset, reviews of Waterparks Entertainment, FOB's Mania, so much going on. Shop.rocksound.tv. Head there now. Let us know your favourite things. Spotify playlist as well, an updated Rock Sound chart. Follow us on there. Scuzz TV show is on daily on Scuzz TV, and also loads going on our website, rocksound.tv. Loads of exclusive news stories, all kinds of stuff. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, and follow us on SoundCloud. Interview 2. So, always the quiet ones. A brand new feature. So we spoke to Mr. Otto Wood, and an absolutely amazing chat all about him. Find out, you know, because he doesn't do the internet, he doesn't do he does some press, but not a lot of it compared to the other two, especially Austin. So, you know, we dove into a lot of different stories, how he met the guys in the band, what got him into music, what inspired him, and of course, it being Otto and it being something to do with Waterparks, things are pretty off the wall, and it got off the wall quick. So buckle up, Mr. Otto Wood, always the quiet ones. Let us know what you think. Where did your interest in music start? Like, how was growing up, you know, was it a household that played a lot of music? Kind of, where did it come from in the first place?
Yeah, I have a pretty musical family. With so that I'm going to throw my sister under the bus immediately, with the exception of my sister, who's self-proclaimed tone deaf. but gosh darn if she doesn't belt out and try. My dad's an old rock and roller, and so he's still, you know, he still gets out in gigs now, and he's you know, when I was really young, actually, I think my first interest was, strangely enough, whenever my parents took me to Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid. And I think they've retired now because they've had such a long career. But there was an animatronic band that played. Right. Yeah, and there was the chef, the pizza chef. I think his name was Pasquale. I did my homework, but anyway, he was the drummer, and I remember being fixated on that. That was an early memory of mine, just watching the animatronic drummer, being like, "Whoa." And when I was 4, my dad got me a little red starter kit.
Okay.
And so I was too short to sit down and play it. So I was standing and wailing on it. And then I took like a 9-year hiatus just to be a kid, and then I rediscovered my love for music again, or playing, when I was like 12 or 13. But yeah, my dad definitely played a huge role, and then my mom as well. I listened to music with her in the car all the time. Like, she got me, my first cassettes. It was like Elvis. I was listening to that a lot. I had this little like tape recorder thing. Well, I guess it was like a little toy basically, but with like a microphone attached, like a karaoke thing, where you pop in a tape and then sing along.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was trying to sing along to Jailhouse Rock all the time.
Amazing.
And so it was that, and then my mom's my pal, so I was bopping around with her all the time, and she was jamming stuff like Celine Dion and that sort of thing. So a wide palette from Elvis and Celine Dion to my dad trying to be like, this is the good rock and roll, like showing me Led Zeppelin and all the quote unquote classic rock from like the 70s and 80s.
Amazing. Because obviously you met Austin quite a bit earlier than Jeff. Like, what were your first impressions of them? Was it kind of love at first sight, or was it kind of did you have to work on your friendships? Like, what was that like?
No, we hit it off really well, but I was like, this guy's weird as hell. He was weird, man. I'll tell you what, because when that first tryout for the old band, where I reached out and I was like, yeah, I want to get together. Like, hey, come on out and have a practice. We'll see how things go. And I showed up, and I didn't know this at the time, but Austin is so directionally challenged that, I mean, he's unreliable for trying to get anywhere. If you're like, hey, do I go south on this road? He has no idea what you're talking about. I didn't know that at the time, so when I was trying to find the place where I needed to be for the tryout, I called him.
Right.
I mean, so I was like, hey, I'm not and it was a part of town I'd never been in either, so, and they lived there, so I figured he should know. I was like, hey, I'm not on this road. Do I hang a right at blah, 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 or blah? He's like, yeah. Or not convincing. And then he's like, tell you what, call this guy. And, so anyway, once I ended up there, he showed up later. He had something to do. They were still in high school, so he was I think a junior or a senior. I can't remember. But anyway, he walks in. It's upstairs at this house. He finally comes in and it's like, oh, Austin's here, and he comes up the stairs. I'm sitting behind the drum kit, and I'm ready to play and meet everybody. And he comes walking up the stairs, and he's got I'm trying to remember. It basically it was pretty weird, just because I don't even know I don't think it was summer either, but he walks in, he's wearing a bathing suit. Right.
Okay.
And I don't know if he wants this disclosed or not. He's pretty shameless, so I'm just going to go for it. But he was, and I can notice this from across the room, because homeboy's Greek, so, he's supposed to have a fair amount of hair on him. But, he's got hairy legs, but one of them is like, all right, natural hairy leg, and then one's like clean shaven, totally like just shiny, pasty white leg. And I'm like, what's up with that? It was just interesting, and he was a little bit of a goofball, bubbly, and a little bit of a goofball when I first met him, and then afterwards to seal the deal. And this is how I knew it was going to be the beginning of a beautiful relationship. He was like, all right, cool, let's go to Chipotle. I'm like, I love that. That was the meal afterwards. And then so I bummed a ride just like carpooled with them to go have dinner. And then when we're driving back, he drove me back, and I also didn't realize this at the time. Thank God he's recently gotten this taken care of, but he's blind as a bat.
Right.
or was. It's nighttime, and it's okay. So he's driving me back. It's nighttime. He's blind as a bat. He can't see. He's directionally challenged. I don't know any of this. I just met him, and it's not raining outside at all. And he turns on the windshield wipers just because, I think, and I didn't have the nerve to ask him what was up with that. But he was dead serious about it. He just turns on the windshield wipers and just keeps driving. And I'm like, what's up with this? What is up with him? My first impression of him was like, yeah, this guy's pretty strange. But I think he can work.
Yeah. Oh man, absolutely incredible. I was not expecting that. What
Neither
about?
was I, to be honest.
What about Mr. Widgington? How was your first encounter with him?
Jeff's a sweetheart. That was my first impression of Jeff, and still is for the most part. It took a while, I guess, for just like a little while, just because I already had that established comfortability, or at least familiarity with Austin. And so then I had to build an entirely new relationship. I'm like, new guy, all right.
Yeah.
see what he's all about. And then we became friends pretty quickly. And I'd invite him over and be like, hey, you gotta come over and listen to me rant about stuff, much like I'm doing right now. He's definitely a sweetheart, and we found a lot to yak about and relate about, because we were both working stiffs at the time. We were both waking up at like 4 a.m. every day, and we'd work like 12-hour days basically, doing different things, and then get together at practice after that.
Yeah.
So you do a 12-hour day of working, and then come home and then practice, which is fun for me. Going from I was doing a physical job. I was working at a shipping and receiving warehouse, and so I'd do like 12-hour days of that, 10 to 12-hour days, and then I'd play drums afterwards.
Blimey, man.
Dog tired, and then drive 30 minutes to an hour home every day.
Wow.
And then rinse, repeat. So we were working. We were like, all right, let's get after it.
No, it sounds like it. And I guess as well, I've spoken to Austin quite a bit about, work. Obviously, you had Mikey play on Cluster. How was that for you? Because, Austin was saying for him that was crazy. And then you guys meeting the Maddens and Pete Wentz and everything. It's all completely crazy. How's that been for you? Has it been just as kind of crazy and overwhelming?
Yeah, just as crazy. Yeah, super, super crazy. Meeting the Maddens was ridiculous. That was a crazy out of body experience where I was like, this isn't real. I don't know what's happening. And then getting to meet and work with Mikey, it was just crazy, just because they were the band that jolted me out of the quote unquote classic rock era to more modern music. And I watched Life on the Murder Scene like it was the video Bible every day. I annoyed so many of my friends or family, anyone. I was like, you have to watch this. It was extremely inspiring. And so to have and this was funny. I tell this just because I won't forget this. It was the funniest thing to me. But Mikey walks into the studio when he's gonna play bass on Cluster. He walks into the studio. And he's like, "Hey, nice to meet you." I'm Mikey, and I was like, "Oh shoot, nice to meet you." And Austin, saying, "Hey, nice to meet you." And then Jeff was all flustered. He's in the other room. He's trying to deal with the airline or something. He's trying to sort out flights or something. And he comes in. He's visibly like. And he comes in, and then Mikey just nice smile, turns, shakes, reaches down, and it's like, "Hey, I'm Mikey. Nice to meet you." And then Jeff, not even looking up fully, kind of was, he went through the motions basically,
no.
time to be polite. He was like, time to be polite. He's like, "Hey, nice to meet." He's like, "I'm Jeff. Nice to meet you." And then he sits down on the couch, and I'm just looking at him, and I've got a grin on my face because I knew that hadn't registered with him yet, and I was waiting for it to, and it was basically like a countdown. I could see it like invisibly over his head. It was like 4, 3, 2, 1, and I see him like lift his head up, and his mouth drops, and his eyes get wide. And he's like, "Oh, Mikey, like Mikey Way," and he's like, "Oh shit," and he looks over at me like. And he starts to point now to that, and I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Oh man, that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, that was funny. And then, I'll make this quick. So
yeah, no man, no, tell me. Yeah.
I met Pete once. This is totally going to be a braggadocious thing, just because
do
I
it,
know
man. Do it.
This will irk. Just for the sake of irking Austin one more time. He's totally cool with it.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he will.
I'm sure he's got a much better rapport than me anyway. But I met Pete before everyone else in the band just because I made an unhealthy lifestyle decision. And here's the tale.
Okay.
It came time to take a lunch break. We were recording or doing pre-production for Double Dare. I can't remember one of the two stages. Anyway, lunch break, and then Jeff and Austin were gonna walk to the ass end of nowhere for some healthy food somewhere, because that's not readily available right next to the studio. And I was like, all right, you guys do that. I'm going to Taco Bell next door. And I come back, while they're on their long trek, I pop in, I pop out, and I walk back into the studio, and Pete was in the control room, and he was just talking to Courtney, our engineer and producer, and he was just talking, and I just walked back in, just thinking like, all right, time to go back in, and I opened the door, and freaking Pete Wentz is standing in there. I was like, oh shit. And Courtney's like, oh hey, Otto, introduce you, Pete. Otto was like, hi, nice to meet you. And then after he walked out, I immediately texted the guys, just like, just met Pete Wentz, and then like some smug face emoji kind of thing, I think.
Yeah.
And then Austin didn't believe me. He's like, "You're full of shit." And I'm like, "No, I swear to goodness." I'm like, "Ask Courtney." And then I said, "Ask Courtney." And then like not a minute after I texted him that, I hear Courtney's phone buzz off.
Yeah.
And he texted Courtney to try to confirm. He was like, "Was Pete Wentz just in there?" He was like, "Yeah, it was, man." He's like, "I don't believe either of you. I think y'all are trying to play a prank on me while I'm gone." He had to come back, and then he went around asking everybody. He asked like Benji and Joel. They're like, "He was just here."
Yeah.
and that's once he got to the top of the totem pole, he's like, "All right, I believe it now."
Yeah. Amazing stuff.
Yeah,
Amazing.
But that was very strange, just because I was not expecting that. I wasn't prepared mentally or physically for that. I just swing open the doors, and I'm like, all right, let's get back after it. And there's Pete Wentz, and I'm like, oh shit. Life is weird.
Yeah. Oh man, amazing stories. I mean, it's just kind of like the Waterparks discography is very much growing as well. Like people love, from Cluster Double Dare to Entertainment now. like from your perspective, like pleasure. Like what's been your favourite song like to date? Is there one in particular that stands out that just every set you can't wait to play?
Song. No, that's really tricky.
Yeah.
I don't think I can narrow it down to one song. I don't even know if I can narrow it down to a favorite album at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, that's hard for me. I know that's a cop out.
No, not at all. No, I mean in that way then. So you're just super proud of everything you've laid down so far. Then it's just all of it's just felt like that natural progression, and everything's just a banger basically.
without trying to sound like, like I'm blowing on my fingernails and then rubbing against my chest, like, yeah, right. But surprisingly, that's, and I guess good. That's how I feel. But yeah, I felt very proud of our releases. I haven't looked back. Even Austin would probably be quick to write off some older stuff. Even like our older EPs, and be like, "What were we doing there? Like, that's not good songwriting or anything like that." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I listen back on everything. I'm like, "I like it. It's good." This is. I mean, just basically, this is definitely the best stuff that I've ever been a part of. So.
Amazing.
I dig it.
Amazing stuff. No, and I mean as well, I guess maybe this might just be as hard, might be a bit easier. Like, you've been, especially over the past couple of years, there's been like we've just been talking about, there's been, so many crazy moments. Has there been a favourite moment for you? Obviously you've had, magazine covers and, sold out shows and all this stuff. Like, has there been a particular moment where you've gone, oh man, I'm so pleased everything worked out this way?
Individually, like each milestone or just happening, each individually, each thing is incredible, but then you smash them together and it's oh shoot, all right, that is wild. I mean, like every cool thing has just been a cool thing, a super cool thing, and when they're compounded together, it's really nice. It's validating, and shoot, I'm trying to think, because it's honestly, I mean, just seeing shows grow. I mean, because I'm still not so far detached from the those local days where I remember we would go out and bust our asses promoting and like handing out flyers and annoying everybody, and my favorite is handing someone like doing something as harmless as handing them a flyer, like a little piece of paper. Like, it's not gonna, it might give you a paper cut. That's the worst thing that can happen. But handing someone a flyer, like, come check this out, or don't. Free will is an awesome thing. And having some angry drunk person, I don't know, who's got their own shit going on, like, I don't fucking want it, and like spit at you. So I'm not too far removed from that to go from like, oh, that was a thing, to now getting to, whether it's playing some super cool sold out headlining shows, or getting a really awesome support slot, and then and this isn't, don't take this as this isn't me being like, all right, time for an obligatory brown nosing moment, but when we got the Rock Sound cover and feature, that was so cool.
Amazing.
that was so cool, and and it was something I got to physically have in my hand to also like bring home and show my family, like people who are really supportive of me, and it, because I get the little bits of validation along the way that I can like probably relay when I talk, but it might not have the same gravity just because it's happening to me. But to be able to bring that back and be like, hey, check it out. And then my mom was gonna, like, she'll set that out on the coffee table for any traffic, like anyone coming over, and like, oh, is that Otto on there? And yep, that's my son. kind of thing. And so again, like more steps towards validation, which is really cool when you're being written off again. Like, when younger years, the thin line between like, hey, you're doing it, you're a musician, and like, you're a bummy, shouldn't you be in grad school? So to have those sort of things, it's really nice, not only for validation, but just to kind of mark I guess I mean, I know success is relative, but anyway.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely awesome. I mean, like, yeah, in that sense, and being able to sort of, show your mum and everything, and that's really, really cool. Like, things like that. Have you, have you sort of shown friends around, that you used to tour with maybe, or even like people you used to work with and stuff?
No, I haven't. I feel that'd be such an asshole thing, though. I feel like realistically, I have toyed with the idea because I thought it'd be nice in some revenge kind of way. come back to work and then like slam a magazine that happens to have my face on 1/3 of it and slap it down on my manager's desk, who is always a wiener to me. I mean, like, how about that? Just have a little Matt Damon moment. How about that? But no, I haven't done that. I mean, and interestingly though, I've had some old friends I don't, that I maybe lost touch with for one reason or another, who've reached out to me, and they're like, hey, I've been keeping up with the band. It looks like y'all are doing some cool stuff, and I like the music you guys have been putting out. I have a couple songs from y'all on a few songs from y'all on my Spotify playlist, and I'm like, hey, that's really neat.
Amazing stuff. So Otto Wood, Rob, what are you saying on this?
I mean, it's just such a great story, like, on so many different levels, and like, I love that band because of their music, obviously, but also because they have such a kind of unique character, and this, individually and as a band, and it was really cool to kind of get some of the sort of story behind that. I particularly like animatronic bands as being an inspiration, like
Pasquale.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all for that. Like, I want a Pasquale poster, ideally, in a future issue of Rock Sound, and shout out to Elvis as well. Like, it's like exactly the same kind of thing for me. Like, my mum's a massive Elvis fan. Shout out, mum.
Yes, shout out,
mum. Shout out, mum. So more Elvis in metalcore, I guess.
Be amazing. Yeah, we could even get a video of Otto doing his Jailhouse Rock karaoke cover.
I would 100% love that to happen. So.
Guys, make it happen.
Yeah,
tweet.
That's
you can't tweet him.
That's proper. You can't.
Send him a letter.
Yeah, send him a letter. Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, like, I feel as though it was a good place to start with this feature because, for one, even though Otto is kind of like quiet, he still has such a personality, and like Waterparks wouldn't be Waterparks without him. Yeah. Still, one of the favourite things I've heard him say was, if you haven't checked out their Guess the Band video with on Rock Sound's YouTube, there's a moment where they have to guess Anish Kari, and Otto just shouts, "Mate."
Yeah, it is
and
incredible.
They know it straight away, and it's brilliant. But I just really enjoyed, like, my favourite part was the Mikey Way story by far, just because it's another thing which makes you remember that, like, even though, because now, even Otto, Jeff and Austin are all, like, people of note within our world now, and people love meeting them and, like, look up to them. Yet, it's an even better indicator that, like, even people who are put on a pedestal get starstruck sometimes. I just love the idea that, like, Otto didn't really know how to react, and then Jeff walks in and just shakes Mikey's hand, and then just kind of slowly realises, which I just think it's really, like, it's really human and really nice, and it just shows that even though the band are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and with entertainment not far away now, they're set to take it to the next step, that they're still just, like, normal, kooky people. And I feel as though, like, when you hear that, like, Otto gets so much love online, and you can see why now, like, because you've just heard him, like, completely, like, make everyone fall in love with him.
Is that maybe this is when he comes to Twitter? Maybe this is what spurs him to do it.
Maybe. I mean, like, I quite like the mystery of that. I quite like not being. I think it takes a lot in this day and age not to have that, like to be able to stay away from the social
Have that
media.
willpower. Yeah.
And he's killing it in that respect. So I'd say don't give in, Otto. Like if you listen, just you do you.
Yeah, no, Jack's right. Just talking about Austin, strolling in to band practice when he met him, in a bathing suit, and just the way he told the stories, it was just like, I don't know what's coming next, but I'm cracking up the whole way, and just like, yeah, absolutely brilliant. And there's lots of stuff that also was cut out of this chat because me and Otto had a very, very long conversation. So look out for more online in terms of everything Otto and Waterparks that you won't already know. So very exciting. Let us know your favourite bits. There's going to be a lot more of this stuff on the podcast. Huge shout out to Otto. So Robert, your shouts for 2018.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really hard to know where to start with this because this is the most exciting year I can remember, I think, in terms of like new releases, incredible bands coming back, and emerging talents and bands. So
yeah,
I mean, in terms of the big ones, you've got to start with, hopefully, fingers crossed, everything crossed, Pilots. Right?
Yeah, big time.
That is going to take over the world. I don't know. They'll be playing gigs on the moon. There are just no limits to what that band can do, and no doubt it'll be incredible. Same sort of deal with Panic. One of the most incredible songwriters in the world. That show is going to be. It'll have to be incredible to top what they did on Death of a Bachelor, but no doubt that they'll do it.
Yep.
And then Bring Me, State Champs.
Yeah.
The list goes on. On the heavier end, there's people like Architects. Yeah, of course. Wage War are smashing it at the moment. Going from strength to strength. Hyperveil are intriguing. And then obviously Palais.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows where that could go this year?
Well.
So a big one for me personally. Is Nothing Nowhere.
Well, yeah.
Like really, really interesting artist, completely unique. He's built his kind of, he's built his project in a really unique, interesting way, done it all himself. It's the music and the lyrics just resonates so deeply for a lot of people, and I think that's going to be, something that you'll be hearing a lot more from him in 2018, I imagine. So, yeah, and also, I Don't Know How, Dallin.
Big time Dallin and Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible project, and like a lot of these bands we mentioned, really, like just completely unique. There's no one else like them. Incredible visuals, really interesting, doing it a different way, and I think that's a big part of what 2018 is going to be. Bands doing things on their own terms in a different kind of way to the traditional, and making it happen. So yeah.
So what you're saying, Rob, is 2018 is going to be all right?
Yeah, it's going to be a really good year. I mean, like the list of bands that I haven't even mentioned is just like not everyone from Against the Current to Beartooth, and that's literally the first two letters of the alphabet. So I haven't even done all of them.
How many bops do you reckon we're going to have this year?
Many bops.
10,659, I think.
Oh, like it.
Going to count them because science, but...
Well, talking of bops, Jack was singing Not Warriors by Waterparks yesterday, and it was an accurate impression.
Well, like going... Do you mean that bit? I don't even remember singing these. Bloody hell. Need to drink less coffee.
No, those are incredible shouts. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think it's going to be... I think it's so exciting, like you say, because it's all about so many different kinds of bands, like newer bands, established bands, all this kind of stuff that, like you say, are going to do things on their own terms and come up with things that are going to be potentially earth-shattering in the sense that they're going to be completely new sounds, like they're going to be unique completely. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the death of genre, and well overdue. So fair play. People don't really... I don't know that people really care that much anymore, and neither should they. People can do what they want. They can mix things how they want, and the music listening public are accepting it. So it's really exciting. I don't remember a more exciting year in that respect. I think it's going to be great, and looking forward to it.
Big style. Nice one, Rob. Cool. So that's bringing us to an end there. Super exciting. And so 2018 is already and going to continue to be absolutely incredible. Follow us on SoundCloud. Subscribe to us on iTunes. And a reminder, of course, as well, at shop.rocksound.tv, our Palais Royale issue. All the bundles are gone, but the individual newsstand copies are still available, but there aren't many left. So head to shop.rocksound.tv now to check that out. Buy it all up before it goes. Follow us on Spotify. Watch our Scuzz TV show on Daily on Scuzz. Check us out online. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, follow us on there. Do all of that kind of stuff to speak to us what your favourite things were. And I messed that up. But yeah, it's been a good week. I had a good time. Really, really fun. I'm Rob on. You had a good time, mate?
It's been great. Thanks for having me.
No worries.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
You can come back anytime you want.
You can.
Yeah, be careful what you.
What was it? Storm in.
Get out! Come on!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great. Cheers.
Amazing. Jack, you had a good time?
Oh yeah.
Oh god, I was going to think into your.
God yeah.
Every time we make coffee in the office, Jack does that. So.
Oh God yeah. Right. Love you. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.